Hello guys, I'm JT Tapias, and today I'm going to talk to you about the sanguine temperament. Now, for those of you that saw my video a couple of days ago when I was talking about temperament theory, I said that one of the first temperaments that I was going to touch on was the sanguine. And the sanguine is a really interesting temperament. It's one of my most interesting temperaments to interact with. Let me explain why. Sanguines are basically the life of the party. They're socializers. To give you a visual of the sanguine is a person that has their shoes by the door. In other words, they don't stay home very long. They go in, they take a shower, they change clothes, and they're out the door again. And their home is just a place where they sleep, literally. They're never home. They're always out. They have tons of friends. Sanguines are people that have this great ability to build rapport with others. They're extremely charismatic. They have amazing levels of energy. I mean, these guys, they are just nonstop. For those of you that knew Coach Bill, one of our former coaches, Coach Bill Sugg, you would see that guy at 4:30 in the morning bouncing off the walls and come back at 8 p.m. and he was still bouncing off the walls. And, they just have these amazing levels of sustained energy that they can keep throughout the entire day. Sanguines are energized by people, so they love being around people. It's like they're like the Energizer Bunny when they're around people. They're fueled by others, and they need to work where they can call the shots. They like to be the center of attention. They like to be the ones that are kind of leading the pack. They have amazing leadership abilities. One of the things that they have to do, this temperament needs to avoid being alone or silent for very long periods of time. They need to have interaction. If at any given time the sanguine is left alone at home, he or she should play the TV in the back, or maybe play some radio or something that's going on, because they constantly need to have some kind of stimuli. Right? They need to be stimulated at all times, and if not, they can easily get down. They can get depressed, and it's one of those things where that temperament is full speed or no speed. In other words, they're super hot or super cold. They may get very excited about one thing really quick for the first month, too, but they get bored easily and they're moving on to the next thing. And so they can be around a group of people and they can be giving you all the attention, and all of a sudden they get bored with you and they move on to the next person. And this is not necessarily a bad thing. This is just how God created this temperament to be. They are the televangelists. They're the people that are bringing crowds, and people gravitate towards them. They're very likable people. And so, in the fitness and nutrition aspect, I'm going to talk about the sanguine mostly in the control area. I want you to remember in my first video how I spoke about control, affection, and inclusion. And so, control is how much control you allow others to have over your life, and how much control you want to have over others' life. Affection is how you love and how you like to be loved. And your inclusion is your ability to socialize and your intellectual abilities. So in this case, I'm going to talk about the sanguine in the area of control, because I truly believe that in the areas of nutrition and fitness, the control area is really the rudder, and that's really where the temperaments are fueled from when it comes to nutrition and fitness, is the control area. So in the areas of control, sanguines need to engage in circuit training. Circuit training is dynamic. They're constantly moving. They're going from one station to the next. The sanguine needs this level of activity and intensity in order to keep their attention. If they go and train in a traditional gym and they're taking 2 minutes in between sets, they're going to get bored and they're going to quit very easily. So they need that high energy. They need to have music. They need to have music in the background, music that's high energy music. They need to make an event out of everything, especially food prep. So on the nutrition side, you guys know I constantly say that in order for you to be successful with your nutrition plan, you need to food prep. And so food prep for the sanguine is tedious. They usually have to go inside four walls, and they don't want to be by themselves, and they want to be around people. And so great, since you know that, if you're a sanguine, what you want to do is you basically want to make sure that you make an event out of food prep. That's right, bring some friends over, maybe share a meal together, maybe find someone that's also doing meal prep and do meal prep with that person. But the idea for the Sanguine is not to be alone and to always make an event out of every situation. On the other hand, when it comes to workouts, you want to make sure as a Sanguine that you're constantly changing environments. So the beauty of fitness today is that we have gyms everywhere: Planet Fitness, Crunch, UFit, and all these gyms. The interesting thing about these gyms, I'm not a personal fan, but I like the fact that they're 10 and 15 bucks. So if you're a person, if you're a Sanguine, if you're one of these people that you need to constantly change in order to stay engaged, then these gyms provide the perfect environment to do that. Because if you're at Planet Fitness and you're paying 10 bucks, if you're at Crunch and you're paying 10 bucks, ultimately you're paying 30, 40 bucks for 3-4 different gyms, and the Sanguine is staying engaged because they're bouncing from one environment to the next, to the next, to the next, and this is what fuels the Sanguine. So highly recommended for the Sanguine to have at least 3 of these cheaper memberships, so they're bouncing from gym to gym, as well as changing their routine. Change your routine constantly. Rotate routines every week, maybe every 2 weeks, so that you're staying engaged and things aren't getting old and stale. You want to make sure that you're listening to different music. So change is very important for the Sanguine in the area of fitness and nutrition. Make sure that you find an accountability partner, someone that you respect, so that you can stay engaged for a good 3 months. And after the 3-month program that you commit to, make sure you change, and maybe even change your accountability partner. And this will guarantee, as a Sanguine in control, that you will be successful with your fitness and nutrition and in general. Guys, I hope this helped. You're probably wondering on the other side, well, how do I find out what I am? There's an APS that it's an assessment that you can take, and there's 52 questions that you can answer, and you can figure out what you are in the area of control, inclusion, and affection. And you are a combination of 5 different temperaments in any of these 3 areas that control your life. And once you get a hang of that, like I've always said, your life becomes a masterpiece. You're no longer figuring out what you like, specifically how you're going to work more efficiently, because this is how God created you to be. Very different from a personality test. Personality test only measures current behavior. The temperament assessment, the APS, tells you exactly how God created you to be. And as in Psalms 139, it says that God knit us in our mother's womb. So he was very intentional, and there's a reason for you to be here, and there's something that you came here to do. So the sooner you figure that out, the happier you'll be. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be talking about the choleric temperament tomorrow, which I happen to be, so it's going to be really, really interesting, because I'll tell you a lot of insights on the choleric temperament, and how for 39 years I've navigated those waters, and it hasn't been easy, but I feel awesome, and it's all due to this APS, which has really allowed me to take control of who God has created me to be. I love you guys. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Ciao.